what I'll do is we'll take you through some data sets. Remember, we're not allowed to show opinion poll numbers. We can't tell you whether it's the BJP or the Congress or the Aam Aadmi Party which is doing well or badly, but we can look at data for the way it stands, which by itself can help you get a sense of what are the critical factors in this battle for Delhi. So I'll take the first question, which is to do with the most important issue, this is data by C-Voter. They run a tracking poll. So the first question really deals with which is the most important issue in the national capital. And if you see, unemployment has been amongst the most important issues throughout this period. At least 21% of the respondents in all the last 4 trackers say unemployment is important to them. Just slightly more important than unemployment in the national capital are civic issues. So issues to do with sewerage, water, roads, that kind of stuff. Then women's security, then corruption, then inflation. Inflation is in fact the third most important issue, which is 18%. The issue with inflation is, who do you blame for inflation? If inflation is important, do you hold that against the central government? Do you hold that against the state government? And if civic issues are important, does that get held more against the state government than it does against the central government? Because civic issues are really about what's happening in your locality. And unemployment also, do you blame your local government for unemployment? Do you blame your national government for unemployment? And then there is development of the state, which doesn't seem to be a very significant issue. So civic issues coming in at 23%, unemployment at 21%, and inflation at 18%, with unemployment and inflation being 2 issues where it is debatable who voters pin those issues on. Civic issues very clearly would get pinned on the state government. The other 2 issues are really depending on the lens the voter sees these from. That being said, let me go across for opening comments to our panel of guests joining us on this broadcast. I'll start with Sanjay Kumar. Professor Kumar, what's your sense at this moment about where the battle for Delhi stands? And if the C-Voter data says that these are the most important issues, how would you be decoding or trying to interpret this data if you were looking at this Excel sheet?
If we look at the data in a comparative perspective, Rahul, when surveys of similar kind were done in other states, unemployment was a much higher number. If I'm talking about, say, Maharashtra or in Haryana, in Delhi it's slightly lower. My own sense is that elections in Delhi is not being fought on the issue of unemployment or price rise. It is being contested on 2 different issues. One, Aam Aadmi Party is pitching hard to convince the voter that they have done a great job for Delhi, especially with in the field of health and education, while on the BJP is trying to contest this election on the issue of corruption, because Aam Aadmi Party came up with a moral high ground when Aam Aadmi Party was formed, that this is a party which is fighting against corruption. So BJP is taking the plank of corruption. They're charging the government of being corrupt. They're not countering BJP, Aam Aadmi Party's claim that they have not been able to do work.
No, but if you think that's the way it is, then corruption is not ranking very highly. Corruption is just 5% of the respondents think corruption is the #1 issue for them. So obviously that's not ranking as a very significant issue in the eyes of people that Yashwant's team has been speaking to.
That is why, if you look at how the campaign of BJP has changed a little bit, they started with, the Sheesh Mahal issue, the Sharab Ghotala, but slowly and gradually, if you notice that during the last 5 or 10 days, it shifted on the whole issue of pollution, Ganga water, the Yamuna water. So I think BJP also realized that yes, corruption is an issue which can influence the middle class voter, but this is not an issue which appeals the poor class voter and the lower class voter, which are the core vote banks of the Aam Aadmi Party. So I think both the parties are trying to contest issues on different grounds, and that is why unemployment is not coming up as big an issue as we see in other states.
Okay.